everyone. How are you all doing? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait for, like I usually do, I'll wait for like 3 minutes before I start. I am supposed to go get a cup of tea, but I already started this live lead, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get a cup of tea right now. Hello, hello, hello. Hi Chinaza, hi Michael. Thank you so much for joining. I really do appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time out today to join this live session. And I promise you guys, you're not going to regret it. You're going to take a lot and you're going to get a lot. Rather, you're going to get a lot from this session. So how has your day been so far? How has it been going? You guys just let me know, how has your day been going? I think for me, I've been having a really good day. You guys, I think this year is my, not this year, but next year is my year. I am really looking forward to next year because the amount of ginger I have, to achieve all the things I want to achieve. Like, I'm really pumped for next year. And to some extent, it might be, or it might look like, oh, initial new year, new things, and everybody's really getting for the new year. Hi. Now, I don't know who is on the PDSGTV channel, if it is Rudy or any of our sisters. I don't know who is there now, but anyways, whoever you are, hi. I was enjoying your live session recently, like the one I was watching earlier. It was really good, and all the unboxing and all the different things you got, really enjoying it. But anyways, how are you all doing? How are you all doing? How was your day? How has your day been so far? Really looking forward to having today's conversation and just having a good time, to be honest. Just having a good time. Okay, so we're going to wait for 30 more seconds before we start. But yeah, how's everyone? How are you guys doing? I'm actually in a very happy mood today, and I'm just thanking God for that. You're welcome. I'm just in a very happy mood and I'm thanking God for that. I think one of the reasons I'm in a good mood is because I told myself that I was going to finish reading a particular book. I'm looking for my extensions. Where are my extensions? Oh, found it. You guys, one sec. We're going to start now. It's only 3 minutes. Like I was saying, I told myself that I was going to finish reading a particular book, and hi, I speak English. I'm from the library. Hi, Carla. Thank you for joining. And to my surprise, well, not surprise because I kind of knew that I was going to complete the book, but the book I set out to complete this year before starting this live, I completed it. And I'm very happy. I'm very excited that what I told myself that I was going to do, I actually achieved it. So that is a very big feat on my part. Carla, thank you very much. So you guys, I think we can start. We've already done like a lot of introductions and all of that, so let's just start with today's video and what it is about. I don't know, my voice sounds crooked somehow. I don't know if it's just me or if I've lost my voice or if it's the weather, but the weather everywhere is just cold. But that's conversation for another time. I will try my best to, because I have like a script written out here, not like a script, like an outline of things I want to say. You guys, like I said yesterday, if you joined the vision board live, I said yesterday, I am going to be taking my inspiration or whatever I think I'm going to be saying today and all that. I'm going to be taking it from this book, and this book is the 12-week year by Brian P. Morgan and Michael Lennington. So now, what is a 12-week year? I think some people might be asking, what is a 12-week year and all of that. I'm going to go and dive into literally everything, and to some extent I'll be going chapter by chapter so that it is very chronological, and it is very like from one step to the another, from one step to the next step and all that, so that everything kind of like makes sense. But everything what I'm going to be saying here is just a summary. Then I'm going to I'm going to go ahead to talk about my own goals and all the things I'm going to be achieving, or all the things I want to achieve next year. Take note, I have kind of like done my own, because while I was reading the book, I was going along with like the exercises and all the things you're supposed to do. So yes, I'll be sharing some of my goals and all the steps I'm going to do to actually achieve those goals. Now, let's start with the summary of the book and literally what it is all about. Now, for chapter 1, chapter 2, I'll just be going like little by little and all of that. So, the first chapter is talking about the challenges that people are going to face when it comes to setting goals and all of that. So, the problem with setting goals is not the fact that you have goals to set. It's a different thing. When it comes to setting goals, people are always like, okay, do you know what? They already know they have to set goals. They have to set goals. But the problem is not setting goals, or the problem is not knowing that you have to set goals. The problem is what you use the knowledge of those setting goals to do. Now, one thing I noticed with this book is that most of the things that are this book, people already know it. Like, you're reading this book and you're like, oh yeah, you're supposed to do this, this, like you always hear this, you hear this all the time. But now the problem is there's a difference between knowing and doing. So you can have knowledge about something, but if you do not use that knowledge for anything, you might as well not even know about it. Do you understand? Because let's just assume, for instance, you know how to maybe you know how to maybe mow your garden, like mow your garden and all of that. You know how to cut your grass and all of that. But if you're not using that knowledge you have to cut your grass or cut your garden and mow your garden or anything, what's the point of having it? Do you understand that type of thing? So I think that's one thing I'm going to like talk about. The fact that these things I'm about to say here today does not mean that you do not necessarily need to listen to it and intentionally like work towards those goals. Yeah. And one thing, something like this came up I think sometime 2 days ago. Hello, pretty lady. Hi, where are you from? I'm from Nigeria, but I'm based in the UK. So something like this came up, I think, what's the word? 2 days ago, I was talking to a friend of mine. She had a book that I also own. And I was like, oh, I'm reading the over that I have this book. Like, what do you think about this book? Have you read this book and all of that? And she said something like, oh, yes, that she has started reading the book, but she stopped in a particular place. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, what do you think about the book? And she said something like, oh, the things that are being said in the book are things you already know. And immediately my mind just went to, yeah, there are things you already know, but are you implementing those things? And all of us just stopped. We looked at ourselves and we're like, I think that's it. So when it comes to reading like self-help books, productivity books, books on finance, business and all of that, reading it is different from implementing. If you're just reading and not implementing, there's no point. Do you understand? So in as much as you're going to read, you have to implement. And that's why for me, when I'm reading all these self-help books, productivity books, books on finance or business, I always have my notepad where I jot things down. And I jot all these things down because I want to be able to go back to look at the things I've written down and try and remember what I am meant to remember. Or another thing I do is you do a lot of highlighting. So if you look at my book, one thing you will see is the fact that I always highlight. So I am either doing something like this for when I want to go back to read this section, or I do something like this for when I just want to like roll on certain lines. Do you understand? And for me, that's one thing about me. Whenever I have books like this, or whenever I'm reading books like this, I always go back to read these books. And instead of me reading everything from the beginning. What I'll do is I'll go to those things that I highlighted, because for me, if I'm highlighting something, it means that they stood out to me in some way, shape, or form. Do you understand? Or maybe I resonated with it, or maybe I relate with the writing, or maybe I just want to remember the quotes. Do you understand? So when I have things that I have highlighted, I most likely always go back whenever I'm rereading these books, always go back to the highlighted stuff, then read it, remind myself what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed not to do, where, just get basic information from the book just from those things that I highlighted. So like I said earlier, the fact that you've read does not mean that you're going to achieve it to some extent. Like, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but the fact that you've read this stuff in this book does not mean anything if you do not practice. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Does not mean anything if you do not practice. Does not mean anything if you do not plan. Do you understand? Now, remember, you should also always remember that there's a big difference between knowing and doing. That's what chapter 1 of this book was just, talking about. Now, if we go over to chapter 2 is talking about redefining your year. And this chapter is mostly talking about getting out of the thinking, the annual thinking, and go into the weekly thinking. So basically, it just talks about creating a sense of urgency. So when you want to create your goals and all of that, you're removing yourself from the analyzed thinking of creating goals, because what we're used to normally, is we're used to, when you want to create goals, you're saying, oh, these are the goals, these are things I want to achieve this year or next year. Do you understand? You will hardly find people that say, oh, these are the goals I want to achieve in the next 2 months. These are the goals I want to achieve in the next month. It's always, it's always a year on year or year on year thing. You understand? So basically, this chapter 2 is just talking about removing the idea or removing the mindset of annualized plans and go into weekly plans, or weekly plans, or let's say quarterly plans, for example. Now, another thing about setting goals quarterly is that the first thing is it reduces mistakes. That's one. Second thing is it saves time, and the third thing is that it provides focus. You might ask, how do all these things work out, and how does it provide focus, how does it save time? When you create an annual goal, the chances that you're most likely going to not remember that goal in, let's say, in 6 months time is really high, especially if you do not go back and revisit those goals regularly. You're going to definitely forget it. And that's one thing that the 12-week year is always talking about. The fact that you create quarterly goals, then from quarterly goals, you're going week by week, you're revisiting it, and there are different activities and different things you're supposed to do while you're creating these goals. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is, taking your goals 1 week at a time. Like I just said, now, you've created a quarterly goals, but you're going back at it week by week to revise your goal. Not necessarily revise your goal, but to make sure that your actions are still in line with the goals that you've created, and you're still doing all the different things you've set out to do with the goals that you've created. Now, another thing about this, taking like your goals 1 week at a time, is that you should also remember that the long-term results are created by the results, or rather created by the actions you do every day. So let's just assume that one of your goal is that you want to lose maybe 10 kg by the end of May or April, for instance. You want to lose 10 kg. Now, the actions that you're taking every day, those are the actions that are going to help you achieve those long-term goals. So if you're not taking actions week on week, day by day, the chances that you're going to lose 10 kg when it comes to the time for you to lose 10 kg, or this specific time you've given yourself, is going to be very low. It's not possible for you to say, do you know what, you want to lose 10 kg by the end of, let's say, April, but by February, March, but by March, you've not done anything to change your diet, you've not been exercising, you've not literally done anything, there's no way you can lose that 10 kg in that by the end of April, because by March you've actually not changed anything about your routine, you've not changed anything about your daily, like everything, things you do daily and all of that. You've just remained the same, but you want to get a different outcome. Like, it's not going to be possible. Do you understand? So you have to take, and that thing again that I also read and understood from this book is that you have control over your actions, but you do not have control over the results. A simple way to explain this is using my let me use my example. For instance, how do you sustain the consistency every week? I'm going to get to that. Let me just quickly say this story before I forget, because the story is in my head, because that's how a person I am. If I don't say this story now, I'm going to forget that I said I wanted to say something. So when I'm done with the story, Chinas, I'll reply your question. So what was my story? Oh yes, I was talking about you having control over your actions, but you do not have control over the results. I remember sometime, I think earlier this year, I set out a goal that, oh, I was going to get 5,000 subscribers. I was going to get my 4,000 watch hours. Take notes, yeah. Having goals like this, they're not necessarily bad, but I think what I see with goals like this are, these are things I can't control. Do you understand? I cannot control how many people subscribe to my channel. I cannot really control how many watch hours I have, but what I can control to help me get my watch hours and to help me get my subscribers is making sure that I upload consistently on YouTube, is making sure that I upload maybe value based or value driven like videos on YouTube, things that, videos that when people look at them, they're going to get value from my videos. Do you understand? Those are things I can control. I can control how frequently I edit my videos. I can control how frequently I shoot my videos, but I cannot control people. I cannot control other people. Do you understand? I cannot control how many subscribers I get. I cannot control how many people watch my videos to give me the watch hours that I'm looking for. Do you understand? And that is the reason why the statement says you have control over your actions, things I do, but I do not have control over the results. The results being getting the 4,000 watch hours. I can control my actions to get my 4,000 watch hours, but I cannot control getting the 4,000 watch hours. If you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So when you have to think about this when you're creating your goals, think of goals that are dependent on your actions, not necessarily dependent on the results, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, the next thing here says, okay, now let me go to your question. How do you sustain the consistency every week? Now, with the 12-week year, there is a process to make sure that you're consistent every week, and I'll get to that. It has to do with weekly check-ins, weekly plans, or weekly revisions, and there's one other process called WAM. That's the weekly accountability meeting. I've written that down in my notes, so I'll probably get to that section. Then I will, we'll talk more about how you can sustain the consistency every week. Now, do I have IG? Yes, I have IG. If you go to my channel, you're going to see my social media, whatever there. You're going to see all my social media details when you go to my channel. Now, the next thing I have here is, with the 12-week year, how this works is a year is equals to 12 weeks. 1 month is equals to 1 week, and 1 week is equals to 1 day. So now, what this 12-week year has done, is that it has shortened your year to literally 12 weeks. So you have 12 weeks to achieve what you want to achieve. But do not make the mistake to think that because it is 12 weeks, what you can achieve, what you want to achieve in a year has to be achieved in 12 weeks. No. I think I made, yesterday when I was doing the vision board, yesterday when we were talking about vision board, I was talking about, I used an example on saving and how unrealistic some goals can be. I think yesterday I said something about you're earning like maybe 80K and you say you want to save 80K at the end of the year. It's not at the end of 3 months. because you've done a 12-week year, you now want to save what you can save maybe in a year. You want to save it in 3 months. It's not possible because there's no way you can get that amount of money dependent on your income. Do you understand? If your income is 80K per year, you cannot save 80K in 3 months. Do you understand? So when you're making your 12-week year goals, you have to be realistic with the goals you're setting. Do you understand? So we're going to get there. We're going to break it down. I'm going to talk about the different strategies that I took and the different things I did to help me set my goals. Because for me, I have set my goals and I'll be talking to you guys about them so that it can give you a better perspective when you're also setting your goals. But by the way, do you guys have any other question? I feel like I'm talking, but do you guys have any questions? You know, let me know if you have any question, but I will just continue. Now, the next thing I will be talking about is confronting your truths and being truthful with yourself. Now, with the 12-week year, there's something that happens weekly. You are supposed to keep your scores. So you have, like, let's say 5 different things on your list for this week that you're supposed to achieve. You're supposed to score yourself over 100 and know where you I'm going to get to your question. I really like the questions you're asking, Shinaza. I'm going to get to your question. Now, like I was saying, with your 12-week year, you're supposed to be truthful with yourself. You're supposed to also keep scores. Now, the reason for keeping scores is that it lets you know if what you're doing is effective, and effective measurements in some sense removes emotion from the evaluation process. So in this scenario, you've created a 5, let's say you for this week you have 5 things on your to-do list that you're supposed to achieve this week. If at the end of the week you only achieved 2, that's where the scoring comes into place. So now 100 divided by 5, and I'm just doing this because of easy calculation. You can have more than 5, you can have 10, you can have 15, you can have let's say 2. Do you understand? Depends on you and what you're prioritizing for yourself. Do you understand? Now the next thing is if at the end of the week you've done only 2 out of 5, that's literally 40 out of 100. Now you have that. Now you've scored yourself. Now you have to be truthful with yourself. You have to evaluate why did you score 40 over 100? What were the reasons, or what were the things you were struggling with that did not allow you to achieve your goals for the week? Because take note, when you're setting these goals, you have to be realistic. Do you understand? You do not want a situation whereby week on week you're unrealistic with your goals, and the next thing what's happening is that you're always scoring low. That can be very demoralizing. Do you understand? There's nobody on this planet that will keep on getting a low score and just be happy with themselves. It takes a level of commitment, a level of discipline to get a low score and believe in yourself that, you know what, you can do better the next time. So you have to also make it easy for yourself so that you're not setting yourself up for failure. Do you get? So you have to also, like I said, you have to score yourself, and you have to think of all the goals you're going to be creating for yourself and all of that. Now, the next thing I also have here is intentionality. Okay, but before I go to the next thing here, let me answer your question, Chinos. I said, what happens if you flop a quarter? Doesn't that mess up the whole year? I don't see it as messing up the whole year. And what do you mean by flop a quarter? Like, literally, you've planned for 12 weeks, yeah? I think if I tell you some of my goals, it's going to help you understand better, and I think it will show you that it's not necessarily possible for you to flop a quarter. The only way you can flop a quarter is if you don't do anything. See, like, well, there's no even joke. Because if you notice in a quarter you have 12 weeks. So the only way you can flop a quarter is if you don't do anything. And the whole point of 12 weeks, like I said, I think I said it earlier, with 12 weeks, there are 2 things that will make sure that you're consistent with the whole program and the process. The first is weekly planning, and the second is weekly accountability meetings. Yes, weekly accountability meetings. Now, if for instance this first week you've scored 40 over 100, you've planned your week. Now, when you're I don't want to jump the gun because we're still going to get to this section, but when I get to the weekly accountability meeting and the weekly planning, you will understand how it is not really possible for you to flop a quarter if you're actually following the process, because there's a process. It's not just about setting 12-week goals and that's it. No, there's a process for you to follow to make sure that you're getting the best out of this. So I will get there. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is intentionality. One thing people should also know or always know is that anything you want to achieve in this life requires an investment of your time. If you're not investing your time in anything, the chances of you really getting a lot out of it is really low. For instance, you want to start a business, you have to put in time, blood, sweat, effort to make sure that that business you want to start is going to be successful. So at the beginning of your business, you might be your you might be your accountant, you might be your social media manager, you might be the logistics person, you might be the person sourcing for these goods. You might literally be the only one doing all these things. But what's happening here is that you're investing your time into your business, and because of that time you invest in your business, your business will definitely grow. At the same time, if while you're also doing all these things, you might be reading books on investment, you might even be doing a course like an MBA course or something. Do you understand? What I'm trying to say is that anything that is worth doing is worth doing well. If you invest your time into something, you're intentional about it, because it's all about intentionality and being honest with yourself. Do you understand? There's some people that just spend time doing something, but at the end of the day, there's nothing to show for it. Why? Why is there nothing to show for it? Were you truly invested in what you're doing, or you're just using it to pass time? So, like I said, anything that is worth doing is worth doing well, and if you put your time into this, be intentional about it, you're going to be successful. That's why when it comes to the weekly planning and the weekly accountability, I always call it assessment, is accountability. The weekly accountability meetings, these are different places where you invest your time to make sure that you get these things right. And if you do that and you get them right, there's no way you're going to flop the entire quarter, if that makes any sense. Now, the next thing I have to hear is also blocking your time. Do you know that some people that throughout the entire day, you might ask them, okay, so what have you done today? And they'll be like, no idea. I mean, to be fair, yeah, we're human beings. Sometimes that thing happens to me, that I have just gone through the day and I have absolutely no idea what I've done. Maybe when I think about it, I'll be able to say, okay, yes, I did this, I did this, I did this. And that's why for me, it is very, very, very important that I have a list of things I want to achieve in a day, because if I don't, I'll just be going through life like, okay, anything goes. Do you understand? But because I know that I have a lot of things I want to do, a lot of things I want to achieve, having a list of things I want to do for a day really helps me to keep me in check that, okay, do you know what? At the end of the day, you have done 5 out of these 10 things that you're supposed to do. Or why couldn't you achieve the rest? Oh, okay, are these high value tasks? Are these tasks that they need to be done today? Or are these things that, oh, you just added them to your what are they calling it? You just adding them to your list. Do you understand? Because, oh, you just remember and you're adding it. So do you understand? Like, having list of things you're supposed to do or things you want to do, it really helps. Again, there's some people that this might not help, and that's fine. I think with all these things I'm saying, know the type of person you are, know the type of know the type of personality you have, know the type of person you are, and see if these things help. There's no harm in trying. You might try it out and you'll be like, do you know what? This process of writing goals does not work for me. What actually worked for me is maybe creating systems. And I don't know if you guys have read Atomic Habits, but Atomic Habits focuses more on creating systems rather than goals. I don't know, but again, I read Atomic Habits and I read this book, and to me, it's like I am putting a mixture of both of them together, because for me, creating systems does not necessarily work all the time for me. But if I have a goal written down, things that I want to do, then I will write the way I will achieve that goal. That's what works for me. But Atomic System just focuses on how you will achieve that goal rather than writing the goal itself. So figure out who you are and, do what works best for you. But the most important thing is that you still need to figure out who you are and, know what works for you. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is blocking your time. So there are different things that you can use to block your time. There's the strategic time, there's the buffer, and the breakout. Now, for the strategic timing has to do with setting out time. Let's say 3 hours in a week, for example. Setting out time for big and important decisions that you want to do. An example of a important task can be, let's say you want to take a course, yeah, or you want to take a course that can improve your career. That's like an important task. Again, for you, you're going to define what is important to you. You're going to define what is unimportant to you. You understand? So for me now, let's say for instance, I want to have like career development and all of that. Taking a task, or rather taking a class or a course to help me improve myself in my career, is something that is very important to me, and that's something I'm going to prioritize. So let's say 3 hours a week, use that to do your important task. And during these 3 hours, you should have no distractions. Your phones should be somewhere else. There should be no form of distraction, so that you're going to give 3 hours. So for you, if you know that 3 hours is enough for you for a week, that's fine. If you can do more than 3 hours, that's fine. But the point is, have a strategic block of time whereby you're doing stuff that are very important to you, and you're not going to be interrupted by anybody or anything. Now, the next one here is, I think it is buffer blocks. Buffer blocks can be like 30 minutes a day, and these are for unimportant tasks. Things like, let's say checking your emails, or what else can I say? That I think checking your emails is one thing that is really like sticking in my head right now. Or let's say reply messages on your social media, for example. Those are like unimportant things that you can do during your buffer blocks. And for a buffer blocks, you can do like, let's say 30 minutes a day, again depending on the amount of time you have, because I can have 30 minutes a day to do something like this, but you might not be able to have that. I might be able to have 3 hours a week or 5 hours a week for my strategic block, but because maybe you're not but because maybe you're unemployed, or because maybe you do flexible working, you might have more time than me. Do you understand? So that I'm saying 3 hours does not necessarily mean that it must be 3 hours. Figure out what works for you and just use that time. Then the last one is breakout blocks, and breakout blocks is just like free time. So for me, the way I work here, if I just keep on working, at some point my head is going to be very hot, and nothing I am working on is going to be working anymore. Like, it's not going to be working anymore. So I'm the type of person that if I work for like, let's say 3-4 hours, I need to take like a break to like think of something else, look at something else, even though my head is going to be very hot, and I'll not be able to assimilate. I'll not be able to do any other thing that makes sense again. So I always like taking, I always need to have the breakout blocks. That's what they're called. And breakout blocks are like free time where you can just use to do whatever it is you want to do. Nothing that has to do with work. That during that breakout block, you are removing all the stress away from your head. Literally, you're removing all the stress away from your head, and you're just freeing space, so that like, if for instance, if you're a creative and you're always thinking of work, at some point you'll have creative block. You not know exactly what to do, because your mind is just jumbled up with different things. So having that breakout block is really, really important. Now, the next thing I have here is creating your goals. Now, there are 3 different aspects to focus on when you're creating your goals. I think now we're going to be very practical. I'll bring out my notes. I'll be reading out some of the goals I have on my notes too as well. So like I said, there are 3 different aspects to focus on when you're creating your goals. The first is your long-term aspirations or your long-term visions. The second is your midterm goals. And for midterm goals, I look at midterm goals as, let's say, between 3 to 5 years-ish. For long-term aspiration, I look at it from like 7 to 10 years. Then the third one is your 12 weeks goal. and that's the one we're going to be focusing on. But we're going to touch on all three aspects because you need to know what your bigger vision is for your life. You need to know what you want in its entirety before you can break it down into smaller components. Now, what else? Let's start off with the aspirational goal. So for me now, some of the aspirational goal I have on my list is I want to have full mobility in 10 years time. So for instance, if I have children, or another one can be I want to be fit after giving birth to my children. So if after I give birth to my children, I don't want a situation whereby I'm having I do not have full mobility, or I cannot walk, or I cannot exercise, and all those things. So that is one thing that is very important to me. And what you can encompass in this is that I'm just basically talking about fitness. Like, I want to be very healthy. I want to take my health very serious. Like, in 10 years time, I want to be full, like be very healthy for my children. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So another one is I want to have a deeper relationship with God. That this, again, these are my aspirational visions, 10-year vision. All these are going to be broken down into 3, and all these are going to be broken down into 12. Another thing is I also want to have investments and stocks. I want to have good relationship with my family. That's my husband, my children, my parents, my siblings, my friends. I want to make money off content creation. That's another goal of mine that I want to do. I also want to have multiple streams of income. And these are aspirational goals, from like aspirational goals like 5-10 years. I want to have multiple streams of income. So not just from my 9 to 5, it can be from my businesses, it can be from my content creation. So what you're going to do is think of where you see yourself 10 years from now, things you want, how you want your life to look like 10 years from now, and write those down. They're very important because you're going to use your aspirational vision to create your 3-year vision. Now, Chinaza, you said, why are we having a 10-year vision? I'm a bit lost. We're talking about right now, we're talking about creating your goals. Before you can create a 1-year goal, you need to know that you have something big for your life. Do you understand? What do you want? Where do you see yourself? Like, let's say 10 years from now, where do you see yourself? Do you understand? So what we're doing is that we're creating a very big goal. Then we're going to break those goals into smaller goals. So there are 3 aspects. The first aspect is to create a 10-year goal, not 10-year goal per se, but an aspirational vision. I'm just giving a timeline. For me, an aspirational vision can be between 7 to 10 years. For you, it can be more than that. For you, it can be 5 years. It's all dependent on you, but create an aspirational vision. The next thing you're going to create from your aspirational vision is your 3-year vision. Then from your 3-year vision, you're going to then create your 12 weeks goal. The reason for this is that you've taken something very big, what you see for your life, then you're breaking it down into smaller chunks so that it makes sense and it is easier to achieve, if you understand what I'm trying to say. That way it's easier to achieve. Do you get? I hope that answers the question. Let me know if that answers the question. But yeah, I will continue. Now, like I said, you have created your aspirational vision. The next thing is your 3-year vision. So for me now, if you remember, part of my very big vision is being fit after giving birth to children, is being maybe having full-on mobility, being okay, that's good, being maybe the same size as I was pre-giving birth. So that's also part of my 3-year vision. Do you understand? Then the next thing is make money off YouTube. If you guys notice, or if you guys remembered from my aspirational vision, I said I wanted to what's the word? I wanted to make money off content creation. Now for my 3-year vision, what it says here is make money off YouTube. Now I'm being kind of more specific on the particular, let's say, particular platform that I want to create, or rather particular platform that I want to make money off and all of that. And that one here says have good relationship with God. The same thing that was in my aspirational vision. Another one says relationship with my family, husband, children, parents, siblings, and all of that. And start a business. Do you understand? So this start a business it's coming from where I said I want to build multiple streams of income. So for me now, one of the things I can do to build multiple streams of income, apart from the fact that I want to make money off YouTube, is also starting a business. Do you guys understand how we're doing it now? So you have to think really big, then from the big you have to bring it closer and kind of be specific in some way. You don't have to be too specific because that's where the 12 weeks come into it. Do you understand? But there should be lesser generalizations the lower you come. Do you get? Now the next thing I'm going to talk about is like the 12-week goals. Now there are ways to create these 12-week goals. You're supposed to have 1 second, drink water. You're supposed to have your goal, and you're supposed to have a time bound that you want to achieve those goals. This is where it gets really, I don't say complicated, but it gets really dandy. I think that's a good word to use because I'm lost of words and not to use. But this is where it gets really interesting. Let me use that. This is where it gets really interesting in your 12-week goals. Now, the first thing it says here is, 1 sec. The first thing I have here is my relationship with God, and I said you are supposed to have your goals and you're supposed to have the timeline for you to achieve those goals. Now, I have my relationship with God. I have read one self-help book or business book. Now, the reason why I'm reading self-help book or business book is because I want to start a business. So I need knowledge on starting a business. Do you understand? Now I'm being more specific. I'm not just saying start a business. Do you understand? The next thing I have here is like lose 5 kg in 12 weeks. This is coming from being fit and having full mobility because, for instance, I might think that I'm overweight and I want to lose weight. So now that fitness or health is very important to me, and I have here take my supplements too as well. Now, the next one here is get monetized on YouTube. And the next one I have here is drive in the UK. So these are my different goals. Now that you've created your goals, the next thing you need to do is create the tactics in which you achieve those goals. And for me, this is where it has a little bit of Atomic Habits and 12-week here. Because Atomic Habits will only talk about the tactics that you want to achieve those goals, while this is talking about both the goal and the tactics in which you want to achieve it. But Atomic Habit only talks about the system, that's the tactics in which you want to achieve the goals. So for me now, the first I have here is improve my relationship with God. What are the different ways, what are the different things that you can do to achieve your goal? Now, for me, I have read my Bible each day. And you know, like I said, I think I said it earlier that for the 12-week goals, in as much as you're having your goals and your tactics, you're also having it is also time bound. So this particular goal you want to achieve, when is the maximum time that you should have achieved it? Do you get when is the maximum time you should have achieved it? That's really important because you do not want a situation, and you need to write it down. Don't just have it mentally in your head. Write it down so that when you go back, when it's time for you to achieve those goals, and you go back and you see that, okay, we're already in week 7, and by week 7, I have not even done anything that has to do with this goal. You have to start, thinking about what you can do to achieve it. So for me now, I have, like I said, the first is improve my relationship with God. And for me, my tactics are reading my Bible each day, worship or pray and praise, or worship or praise, then start a devotional and read that. And for me, this I will always do each week. So by the end of every week, I should have done this at least 7 times. Do you get? I should have done this 7 times. So each day, every day, I'm supposed to do either of these 3 things or all of these 3 things, because these are the ways that I feel that it can help me to improve my relationship with God. Now we'll go over to the second goal, being read one self-help book or business book. And the tactics I'm using for this are, the first is decide on a book to read. And for me, the deadline for deciding on a book to read is week 1. So at the end of week 1, I should have chosen a book that I want to read. Do you understand? So for me, that's my timeline. By the end of week 1, I should have chosen a book, or I should have decided on a book that I want to read, a self-help book or a book on business. Now, the next is read one chapter each day. And this particular tactic should be looked at each week. So at the end of every week, I should check from my to-dos, did I actually read a book, or did I actually read at least one chapter every day? That's the way I'm also, that's like the timeline for me. Each week I should be checking, okay, was I able to read this book, or was I able to read this chapter? Okay, the days that I did not read the chapter, what happened? Why did I not read? And that is where the weekly planning comes into place, because after this particular goal setting section, that's when you will go into the weekly planning and the weekly accountability meeting section. Now, the next thing for me here is lose 5 kg. Now, my tactics are limit calories to 1005 every day, reduce my sugar intake, go for a walk every day, indoor cycle at least once a week, and go to the gym at least 5 times a week. These are the different tactics that I'm going to use to measure up to this goal. And these are the things I'm supposed to apply to myself every day when I'm going about my day-to-day activities. Now, the next one I have here is get monetized on YouTube. This is very important. And I think while I was writing this get monetized on YouTube, I remembered how I said, oh, earlier this year I wanted to get monetized on YouTube and all of that. I want to get maybe 7,000 watch hours. But if you guys remember earlier, I told you that the things you can control are your actions. You can't control the results. But your actions, whatever it is you've done, once you've done your best, it might show in the results. So just do your own part, which is controlling your actions, and those actions are going to translate to your results. Do you get? So I made sure to have that at the back of my head while I was creating my tactics, because to be honest here, it is very, very easy to go into the whole thinking of, oh, get 4,000 watch hours, or get monetized on you. No, not get monetized, like maybe have 2,000 subscribers. And I remember very well when I was having this thinking about, having a specific amount of subscribers or getting 4,000 watch hours, but I was not putting in the work. Yeah. What then happened was that I started feeling bad. Now, oh, why is it that I'm not getting the subscribers? Why? But my mind didn't. I don't know why I wasn't thinking. I'm just even thinking about it now. Like, why wasn't I thinking in like from the aspect of, because you're not putting in the work, you're not necessarily getting what you want. Like, I don't know, for some weird reason, my mind did not just even think about it that way. And it could just be because, it could be maybe because I was having this victim mentality and victim mindset that, oh, it's not working out, so maybe it's not for me, it's not my fault. Like, I felt that, oh, the universe was against me and there was nothing I could do about it. While in reality, there was a lot I could do about it, but I was not just putting in the work. Do you understand? So now I made sure that when I was writing get monetized on YouTube, one of my tactics was edit my YouTube videos every day. So if I have videos that I have already shot, I'm the type of person that will just leave it when it's like a week before the video is supposed to go online, or rather the video is supposed to like be scheduled. That's when I will just be running helter skelter. I'll be trying to edit. I'll be trying to edit. I'll be stressed. I'll be having anxiety because, oh, I've already scheduled that this video is supposed to come out today, but now I have not done it because I've been, faffing around. So what I told myself was that one of the tactics to actually avoid that and to get myself monetized is editing my videos every day. Another one is thinking of video ideas. Thinking of video ideas, I think to some extent I've gotten this under control, because I kind of have figured out some of the video ideas that I'm supposed to put out. But that was one of the tactics, because that, again, this was one of the things that was holding me back last year, thinking of video ideas. But I think right now I kind of have it under control in terms of Video ideas are plenty. All I just have to think of is maybe probably writing a script or thinking of the different ways I can put out the video. In terms of, let's just assume I want to do something. Do I do it in a vlog format or do I do it in a sit down video format? So those are the things that I have to think about to just make sure that I'm getting it right. Now the last one I have here is go live on YouTube at least 5. As I'm saying this now, I'm just laughing at myself. Go live on YouTube at least 5 times a week. You guys, you might see me now and feel that, oh, she's very confident, she's coming out here, she's talking, she's doing all these things. But the forces that are against me from doing this thing, you guys don't know. Do you know that I think sometime it's this year actually, Vlogmas this year, before Vlogmas started, if you guys know what Vlogmas is like a daily video upload what YouTubers do, whereby from the 1st of December to the 25th of December, they put a video every day, vlog, sit down video, whatever it is, they put a video out every day for 25 days. A week before Vlogmas, I had an idea. I was like, oh, let me create Vlogmas video ideas that people can do. Like, and again, these were things that I was thinking I was going to do too. And I was very happy. I put out the video. I was like, yeah, if you need Vlogmas videos ideas, these are different video ideas. And for someone that had about 50 video ideas, you expect that, yeah, when it comes to me, to put out 25 videos will not be a problem. And when week 1 was so good. And I think in as much as I did not really do all the things I wanted to do, I still give myself a pat on the back because this is the third time this is the third time I'm trying Vlogmas. The very first time I tried Vlogmas, I got to just 8 videos. The second time I tried Vlogmas, I did just 4 videos. But this time around, I did about, if I'm not mistaken, I did about 15 videos. Then I think I went live like 3 or 4 times because that was my own process. What I wanted to do was that on some days, I'll put out videos. On some days, I'm going to go live so that it's like a mix and match of both. But when it's time to go live, that's when you will see that, I'm tired. Because then again, I was also working. I was like doing like 9 to 5 and all of that. And after work, I'm just tired. And the next thing I'll do is just give myself an excuse not to go live. Like, I will talk myself into it and say, Chidima, you're tired, don't do it. And I'm like, yes, I'm actually tired. Just go and sit down and watch TV and all of that. And that is how I think I missed about 3 days. Like, these videos were already scheduled to go live. Like, already these live sessions were already scheduled. That was on YouTube. I'm sure a lot of people got notifications that, oh, this person is going live. But I did not just show up. Like, I did not just show up because I just talked myself out of it. So for me, one tactic, and that's why this is here, go live at least 5 times a week. I am kind of like pushing myself. I know I can do it, but I need to get out of my head and get out of the self-doubt. I think that's what it is. The self-doubt that, oh, when I come, I have nothing to say. I've totally forgotten that even me as myself, the way I am, the way I'm bubbly, yeah, I'm a personality and it's going to appeal to some people. And if it doesn't appeal to you, that's fine. We can always like the same thing. Do you understand? But it's just that me telling myself that, oh, I don't have anything to say. Nobody's going to listen to me. There's no point coming there. And that's how I talk myself out of it. And that's what happened. So I just told myself that at least 5 times a week, I want to go live. I might do 7 times and yay, that's good. If I do 7 times, that's good. But I have written it down that 5 times a week, I have to do it. How am I going to do it? I don't know, but we'll figure it out because I've written it down. And now I have told you guys, so you guys are going to hold me. You guys are going to hold me accountable to make sure that this goal that I've written for myself, this tactics I've written for myself, I actually achieve it. Now, the last one I have here is drive in the UK. You see, whenever I think of this driving in the UK, I'm just like, oh my days, do I really want to drive? But driving is a very big part of life. I need to be able to drive myself wherever I want to go. I don't want a situation whereby I want to go somewhere and I'm just relying on my partner or my husband for him to take me where I want to go because I cannot drive myself, or maybe taking an Uber and all of that. So I want to learn how to drive. Before I left my country, before I left Nigeria, it took me a long time to decide to drive. But the moment I started driving, I decided to leave the country to now have to start it over again. So some of the tactics for me to drive in the UK, the one I have here is read for my theory test. And that one I have to do every day. I have to do it every week. So each week I'm going to be looking, okay, I'm going to be scoring myself. Did you read your test? Did you read for a test? And all of that. Another one I have here is apply for my theory tests. Now I have this as week 3 to apply, to make sure that I apply for the test. The next one I have here is do my theory test. I'm just putting week 12 for this because I know that there's some kind of backlog right now when it comes to theory test. So you might apply now. Hope I've not spoiled this thing. No. So you might apply now and you will not get a date in let's say 3-4 months time. So I'm giving myself week 12. And if by week 12 it does not happen because of something that is not my fault, that's fine. I think that's one thing people should also know, because with this driving in the UK, some of the things that are here are not necessarily controlled by me. I'll just do my part, and whatever happens, it happens. Do you understand? The whole point is what I set out to do, I did, and I tried. Do you understand? So I might go ahead to book my test, and I'll say that the next available date is sometime in June or July. There's nothing I can do about that. Do you understand? I, at least for my own part, I have done what I said I was going to do, which is schedule my test date. Do you get? Now the next one I have here is practice my driving. So hopefully I'm going to be able to start practicing my driving and all of that, going to driving school and all of that. But yeah, literally that is how I wrote it. So if you don't understand, just to like reiterate all the things I've said, the first thing you're going to do is, oh, let me reduce this. The first thing you're going to do is have a aspirational goal. That's the first thing. Have an aspirational goal, something that is very big, maybe 10 years into the future. Next thing, from your aspirational goal, create a 3-year goal. And from your 3-year goal, create your 12-week goal. Again, make sure that it is realistic, because that's one of the reasons why a lot of people do not get to their goals or do not succeed in this goal planning. They make unrealistic goals, and the next thing, they're sad that they've not done it. But from the onset, you were already setting yourself up for failure because you're very, very unrealistic with your goals. So I think the next thing I'll be talking about is the next thing I'm talking about is the various ways you're going to struggle. The various ways you're going to struggle while creating your goals. And we all want to achieve these goals that we're creating. That you're creating your goal, you're not creating a goal that you're saying, okay, maybe you might not achieve. You actually want to achieve these goals, but now there are things that they are in your control, but it's just your default setting, the way you are. Do you understand? Like I was saying, for example, for myself, the way I am, when it's time for me to go live on YouTube, that's when my head will start telling me, oh, but you're tired. Oh, you're hungry. Oh, you've not done this. Oh, you've not, like, I'll be making excuses for myself. And now, it now depends on how important those goals are to you. That will actually set the pace for if you're going to do what you set out to do, or if you're just going to backslide. Do you understand? But it is very, very important to know the things that might actually slow you down from achieving your goals. Again, like I said, there are times we all want to achieve something, but we fail. Do you understand? It's important to also think of the various ways you can struggle, the various things that will cause you to struggle when it comes to achieving your goals and all of that. Now, what I have also done is that I have listed a list of actions I will struggle with. See, this whole goal planning is all about honesty. Like when I say honesty, like brutal honesty, be honest with yourself. Because if you're not honest with yourself, you're not going to succeed. For me, I've listed all the actions that I know that I will most likely struggle with when it comes to the goals that I have written down. The first one is going live on YouTube. that has always been a struggle for me, going live on YouTube. Is that when I want to go live on YouTube and my partner will want to, sit on the couch and watch maybe one series or the other, or that's when I remember that I'm hungry, like I said, or when I remember that I'm tired. Like I'm always making excuses. I'm a very big excuse giver. I can make excuses. But the thing about it is that I'm honest to myself, and I know that this is one place I will struggle with going live on YouTube. Now, the second one I'm going to struggle with to some extent is reading my Bible or devotional. And there are several reasons why I will struggle with this. So I go to the gym, let's say 5:30-ish. I come back from the gym like around 7:30. Then I shower, get ready for work, 8:30. Now, instead of me to stand up and go to my desk, guess what I will do? I will stay in bed and sleep till 9. And I have my first meeting for the day by 9:15. And you know that it's not by that 9 that you want to stand up, that you'll stand up, because you're still going to be, you're stretching, you're tired, you're just doing everything last part. You know, the bed is warm, you're happy. Now it's like 9:12 or 9:13. That's when you see me. I'll just be jumping. I'll be running up and down the stairs. Oh, my laptop. Oh, the laptop is not charged. Oh, I can't find my headset. Oh, my headset is in my gym bag. I'll just be jumping up and down, jumping up and down, jumping up and down. Next is 9:15. I've started my meeting. Yeah. After my meeting, next thing I'm in another meeting with someone. Oh, help me do this. Or next I'm already doing the task I'm supposed to do. And that is literally how the day will go. And guess what? I have not read my Bible. I've not read my devotional. I'm like, okay. Then when it's time, when I remember, maybe when I have a free time, like around 11, I'm like, I'm hungry, let me go and eat. I'll leave again to go and eat. And that is how I'll just go. My day will just progress without me reading my Bible. Some people might look at it and be like, what are you doing? But that is a very big struggle for me. That's something I struggle with. Do you understand? And this is me being brutally honest, because if I'm not honest with myself, I'm not helping myself. Simple. Now, the next thing I know I will struggle with is reducing my sugar intake. Oh my goodness, I have a very high sugar craving. I don't even understand. Like, it is really, it is serious. I need help. God, I need help. Like, I need serious help. So this is one way that I know I'm going to struggle when it comes to reducing my sugar intake. I'm literally going to struggle. By the way, before we even continue, I think I should create a poll with let me write. What should the poll say? Let me say, are you creating a 12-week year goal? Yes, I am. Nope. Still doing it yearly. Okay. Okay, let me start the poll. So I've started a poll. So if you see the poll, just please vote. Let's see what you're doing. If you're creating a 12-week year goal, or you're still doing it yearly. To be honest, whatever way you're doing, this is just dependent on you. And this is for the 12-week year. This has been proven to be things that has worked. So it will really make sense for you to actually try it before you like just shut it down completely. It will really make sense for you to try it. But back to the next thing I was saying, like, I struggle with sugar a lot, and I have tried so many things. Yeah, I've tried telling myself, oh, I will just buy it, but I will not eat it. Which is one of the worst. I've not heard any excuse worse than that before. I'll just buy it, but I'll not eat it. Don't worry, I'll not eat it. And I'm always lying to myself, because I always fall back to eating it. Even though I told myself I'm not eating, I'll try in the morning. I'll try very early in the morning. I'll not eat anything. I'll not eat any cookies, nothing. But when it comes to the evening, when I'm already stressed and I just need that sugar rush, you see, I'll just be eating the cookies. So that is one way or one place I'm going to struggle in. I'm going to struggle in reducing my sugar intake. The last one I have written here is going on a walk/run. So because I go to the gym in the morning, I will automatically want to go for a walk or a run in the evening after work. But that's where the problem comes. Because if you guys remember, I said that I'm supposed to go live after work. And I'm already telling myself I'm tired. So why will I carry myself out of my house, wear my gym clothes, and go out on a walk or everyone in this cold weather? That's another one. Do you understand? So I know that these are the things and these are the different places I'm going to struggle with. I mean, there are more, and I have not just written it down, but these are the four that just came to mind immediately. So if you're following through, if you're going through, like as we're doing this, write down actions that you're going to struggle with and be brutally honest with yourself. Because like I said, if you're honest with yourself, you're going to help yourself and you're going to try and figure out the pitfalls before you actually get there. Do you get? Now, the next thing I am going to talk about is, what are you going to do to overcome these struggles? So now that you've figured out what your struggles are, what some of your struggles are, what are the things you're going to do to overcome these struggles? Now, one sec. Now, for me, the first thing I have here is pre-scheduling the time, because I said for me, the first thing that I'm going to struggle with is going live on YouTube. So for me, the first thing I'm going to do to overcome my struggles are rescheduling the time for live and keeping people in the loop to help me be consistent. So I know there's this friend of mine. Once I just tell that girl that I'm going live today, or I said I'm going to go live today, next thing she's going to be messaging me, have you gone live? Oh, what time is it? Oh, let me join. So if I have told someone about it and the person is already excited about joining the live, and next thing I tell the person, I'm tired, I cannot do it, how do you think that person is going to reply to me? Like, well, what do you mean you can't do it? I'm excited for you to do this live and you're telling me you can't do it because you're tired. What are you tired? Why are you tired? Like, what exactly have you done today that's making you tired? Do you get that type of thing? So telling people about your plan is going to help you to kind of be consistent, because now people are going to keep you in the loop, like, oh, you said you're going to do this, keep to your word, do it. Now that you know, you have an idea that, oh, people are waiting for you to do what you say you're going to do, the chances that you're going to do it is going to be very high too as well, if you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So the next thing I have here is setting out the time between 8:45 to 9 o'clock every morning to read my Bible / do my devotional. Now, what this means is that it means that, let's say, by 8:30 every day, I should be at my desk. Now, the time that I'm going to use to go to the gym, so it means that maybe I might have to change. If I really, really want to sleep when I get back from the gym, it means that I might have to move my gym time from, like, let's say 5:30 to like 5 o'clock or 4:30, so that when I come back from the gym, I have enough time to sleep before I then wake up. Because if you guys notice the timeline I gave you, the problem is that when I come back from the gym 7:30, I dress up and shower and do all those things like 8:30, 8:45, then I say I want to sleep. From 8:45 to 9 o'clock is already is like 15 minutes, and 15 minutes after gym session, to be honest, is not enough. Is that you don't sleep at all, or you sleep for, like, let's say 1 hour after a gym, because when you sleep after a gym session, you'll be very, very happy. You'll be very happy. Your muscles will be rested. You'll be well rested. So it means that for me, if I want to be consistently reading my Bible every morning before I start my day, I might have to move my gym time earlier. Or if I know that I cannot move my gym time earlier because of the time I get back from the gym and all of that, then I'm not going to sleep. I'll just go straight to my desk. So by 8:30, I should be at my desk, because that will help me with my planning of my day and reading my Bible or my devotional. That's it. Now, the next thing I have here is sugar intake. Like I said, reducing my sugar intake. So what I've done is that I know that it's very good to know who you are. It's very good to know who you are and know what your strengths are. For me, I know that I can try and reduce my sugar intake, but completely cutting it out is really difficult. I've tried it and I was not really successful. So I would rather not lie to myself. But if I know that there are specific days that I can have my snacks, I'll be looking forward to those days. Do you understand? So I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to buy snacks often in the house, but I will have specific days that I'm going to be taking snacks. And those days are the only days maybe in a week that I'm going to take snacks. And what will happen is that, oh, once I've taken it this week, I'm just looking forward to the next week on. And that's just going to help me curb my sugar intake. And I think for me that is one way to do it. So like people say with weight loss, rather than cut out specific meals from your food, or rather than cut out specific foods from your like daily food with meal and all of that, just taking a smaller quantity, taking a smaller portion. So that's the process I'm following now. Again, another thing I want to also do is rather than buy these snacks in the grocery store, I'm going to make it myself so that I can regulate the amount of sugar that goes into it. So one snack that I know that I want to take is, let's say, banana bread. Banana has sugar, especially when banana gets really, really, really ripe. It has like a lot of sugar in it. Then, but if the recipe says, let's say 1 cup, I can use like maybe 1/4. So it's still going to be sweet. I'm still going to be having on my coffee, but it's not the really 20 grams of sugar in one like very tiny cupcake or all of that. So I'm going to be making my snacks myself at home, and I'm going to be having it on specific days. The next one I have here is going on a walk slash run. If you guys remember, I already said that going on a walk like in the evening, like around 5, it's not really, I can't really do it because it gets really dark. These complaints might seem like things that, like, why are you complaining about these things, but they're really important. By the way, you guys, wait, I think I want to try using my TikTok light and see what it looks like. 1 second. Ooh, this looks good. Oh, this looks good. Okay, so I think I really like this. This looks really good. So back to what I was saying with going on a run like after work. It might look like something that is easily achievable, like why can't you just do it? But in reality, because I know the type of person I am, it gets really dark. There's the whole winter blues, the whole when it's winter you don't want to do anything, you just want to stay at home and be cozy and all of that. So those things, those thoughts, they come into my head. So rather than go on a run or a walk after work, what I have planned on doing, or rather what I plan on doing to overcome those struggles, the struggle of actually going on a walk, is going on that walk in the middle of the day. So rather than have lunch, so during my lunch period between the hours of 12 and 1, that's when I'll go on a walk. And it just makes everything easy. It means that in the middle of the day, I have done my walk and that's it. Nobody's stressing me, nothing is happening, everything is good. Hi, Amelia, thank you for joining. So I have gone on my walk. Do you understand? So that's one way to curb the struggle of going on a walk. I will be going on a walk or going on a run in the middle of the day. So it is really, really important that you find out things that are going to slow you down, or things that are going to be a struggle for you when it comes to achieving your goals, and think of ways to overcome them. And it's very important that you think about it earlier on, rather than when you're in the situation. That's when you're now thinking of how to solve your issue. Think of it now before you get to that situation, so that when it's time, you will realize that, okay, you found a better way for yourself on how to go about what it is you want to do. So that's one thing I'm going to say. And the next thing I'm going to go ahead to talk about is, okay, next I'm going to go ahead to talk about is your process control. And this is just talking about how to make sure things get done. Again, I don't know, Chinas, I remember you were asking questions about how are you going to be consistent? How are you going to make sure that if you flop one, What was the question? What happens if you flop a quarter? Doesn't that mess up the whole year? Now that's where process control comes into place. And you remember I said that there are two things that need to be done to make sure that you get your process under control. The first one is weekly plans, and the second one is participating in weekly accountability meetings. So now I'm going to start with weekly plans. What weekly plans entails is scoring your week, planning your week, and participating in weekly accountability meetings. So when it comes to scoring your week, like I said, you already have like a list of things you said you're going to achieve this week. Now, how many percent, what percentage did you achieve? Did you achieve 10? Did you achieve 20? So if you achieve anything less than 60, we need to look into it and ask yourself, we need to ask questions like, why didn't you achieve all these things that you said you were going to achieve? What was stopping you from achieving these goals? The next thing is planning your week. You will also take time to plan your week. In as much as you're scoring yourself, use whatever it is that you've gotten from scoring yourself. So, after scoring yourself, you're asking yourself a series of questions like, what did you do? Why didn't you do this? Why did you get this particular score? Then use that to also plan the next week. Again, remember, you're taking your weekly plans from your 12-week year. Your weekly plans is being taken from your 12-week year. You're not just formulating one every week. No, it's being taken from your 12-week year. Now that's what you're going to use to plan your week. Now you plan your week, all the things you're supposed to do, you write them down, have your buffer blocks, have your strategic block, have your, what's the last block? I think there's buffer, strategic, and your breakout block. Have these different blocks so that that there are times whereby you're supposed to fully concentrate on something. There are times whereby you're supposed to use it for unimportant things like replying emails, replying messages, and there are times where you're just supposed to be free, watch a movie, read a book, maybe whatever it is, just something, a hobby that you actually like for yourself. These are times that you're supposed to do all those things. Now, the last one is participating in weekly accountability meetings. Now, for weekly accountability meetings, these are meetings whereby you can have a group of 4 or 5 people. You all come together. It can be like a virtual meeting. It's most likely it will be a virtual meeting if you're going to do it. You all come together. You ask yourselves, okay, what was your score? Okay, now depending on your scores, okay, what happened? If this person scored 60, but this other person scored 80, okay, how did you score 80? What did you do differently? You that you scored 60, where did you think you struggled? And you all just help yourselves. The fact that you have weekly meetings like that is going to keep everybody in check. It's going to keep everybody in check and balance everybody out. The fact that you know that, there are people looking out for you, you're keeping yourself accountable, because accountability is ownership. And it says accountability does not mean consequences that, when you do not do what you're supposed to do, you're going to get reprimanded or anything. No, it's just taking ownership that I have said I'm going to do these things and I have not done it. Why haven't I done it? Like, figure out what exactly you can do to make sure that you do what it is you're supposed to do. Now, the next one is, like I said, weekly accountability meetings. And with the weekly accountability meetings, you're supposed to talk about your execution score. So the score you got when you planned your week, then your intentions for the coming week, that's the new week. What are you going to do this new week? What are the plans you have for the new week? Then the next is feedback and suggestions from the group. So now people in your group, they can give you feedback. You can say something like, this week I actually struggled with going on a run. Even though I told myself I was going to do it 12 to 1, I struggled. Somebody else might be like, I have tried something like this. This actually worked for me. Maybe you should try this. That's the way people will give you options. People will give you ideas on things that might work, things that might not work. So if you have a group of friends that you want to do something like this week, that would be very nice. But for me, since I'm here talking to you guys about my goals and the 12-week goals I have for myself, I brought myself out. So I might as well just be doing my weekly accountability meeting here. So I will be having my weekly accountability meetings every Saturday. Let me be sure. Yeah, I'll be having my weekly accountability meetings every Saturday, most likely between the hours of 3 and 4, because it's meant to be like a 30-minute meeting. But obviously, I will not just come in and just stop and go. I'll talk to you guys. Some people might also be some people might also be interested in being public with their some of their goals or their execution scores. So we can just be chatting. You can just put it in the chat box how many scores you did. Or another thing that we can do is while I'm live, while I'm calculating my scores, you're also doing the same thing. You're calculating your own scores. Then we're just talking about different things that we can do. And if you're not like really high on your scores, I can give you advice on maybe suggestions on things you can do, or somebody in the comment section can actually just help you out with whatever it is you're struggling with. So I'll be having my weekly accountability meetings every Saturday. At least for me now, that is a commitment that I have made to go live on YouTube. So you see how this is literally tied to my goal. Do you understand? Now it's really literally tied to my goal of going live at least once, or rather not once, at least 5 times every week. Can you guys see it? Nice, making sense, right? Good. Now I will go over to the book to read common pitfalls. So because again, like I said earlier, this is where I'm getting most of my ideas from, the 12-week year. So I'll go over to the book to just read some of the ideas, or rather some of the pitfalls from process control and how it can affect you, and how to just change your thinking when it comes to process control. One sec, let me open it. Well, I can't believe I've been talking for about 80 minutes now. My throat is paining me. I need to drink something hot. Having this light is just the best. I can't believe I didn't even think about this sooner. Oh, I think it's because I was facing the window. It was bright, but now it's dark, and I just felt that everything was too dark. Oh, that makes sense. But from now, I'll just be using my lights. I'll not be relying on the natural lights. Now, some of the common pitfalls when it comes to process control is, the first one that is written here is you don't plan each week. So, like I said, you have to be doing your weekly planning, because if you don't plan, you're planning to fail. So you need to plan each week so that you know exactly what you're going to do for the next week. The next one here says you include all your tasks. So literally, instead of you to break down your tasks into different weeks, you're putting everything in one week. What that would do is that it's going to be too much, and you cannot achieve all those things in a week, and you just get discouraged. So do not make that mistake of putting all your tasks in. Do not make that mistake of putting all your tasks in 1 week. Now, the third one here is you assume that each week is the same. Like I said, remember when I was talking about the different tactics and the different timelines? Some were week 1, some were week 5, some were week 12. So depending on the week, that is how you're going to like put stuff in the weekly plan. So for me now, I have week 5. I think for me, week 5 is I should have applied for my driving tests, and I should have registered and maybe try to get a date. On week 6, I cannot apply for my driving test again, because the deadline for that is already week 5. So you should not be on my week 6. So use that mindset to know that all week are not the same. Things you're supposed to do in week 1, some of them are not supposed to be done in week 3. And that thing again for me is, when it comes to reading a book, I said that week 1 is my deadline to choose a book or look for a book that I'm going to read. By week 2, choose a book to read cannot be a part of the things I will do weekly, because it's supposed to be done already. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Then the next one here is you add tactics weekly. What this means is that you have goals, and for your goals you have tactics. Your tactics are like your systems, the systems you put in place to achieve these goals that you want to achieve. So this week now, I've written that, I should take, let's say when I want to lose weight, I've written that I want to consume 1,500 calories each day. Next thing, I'm adding, I want to drink 2 gallons of water. Next time, adding, I want to skip. Next time, adding, I want to also go to the gym. Now, these tactics, in as much as they are good, they were not things that were in my tactics from the beginning. So adding new tactics can be a pitfall, because it can just be very over consuming, or it can just be very, can be too much all at once. Do you understand? So you need to remember that you should not add new tactics every week. You should follow the tactics that you're already supposed to follow, depending on what you've written down. You understand? And this is not to say that you cannot add new things, but be careful not to add unimportant things and not strategic things. Do you understand? Be careful not to add maybe like all your to-dos and make everything overcomplicated for yourself. That's one thing you should do. So like I said, you can add tactics, but it should not be like every week you're adding something new. Every week you're adding something new. It should not be too frequent like that. The last one, or rather the next one here, is you don't use your guide. You don't use it to guide your day. Remember that I said that with your 12th week, you've created your week. With your 12th week, you've created your weekly to-do list. With your weekly to-do list, you're supposed to create your week, your day, to do like things you're supposed to do each day. Now, remember that I said that for week 1, I want to, for reading books, that's for reading a business book or a self-help book, week 1 is my deadline to select a book. What this means is that at least maybe on 1 or 2 days, look for books to read on business or look for books to read on self-help is meant to be a part of my to-do list, because that will help me to achieve my week 1 goals. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So use your weekly plan to guide your day. Do not go and add things from somewhere else. So let me give you an example. Let's say I said that for my week 1, I want to read, I want to go to the gym. Then the next thing I'm adding something like travel. Like maybe not travel. Maybe travel is a bad example, but something that has nothing to do with your goals. You're just adding something else entirely. What that would do is that you're adding things that are not supposed to help you get to your 12-week goal. And with that, what is happening is that you're kind of like straying further away from it. So you need to use your 12-week, change you from your 12-week, use it to create your 1 week, and from your 1 week, use it to create your daily plans. And lastly, it makes, what it says here is, you don't make it part of your routine. It has to be part of your routine. You need to create that 5 to 10 minutes every day. So go through your day, look at what you've done, look at the things you're supposed to add, look at things you're not supposed to add, and use that to create your day. So it's kind of meant to be part of your routine. Looking through your plans is meant to be part of your routine, because routines are very, very important. The more you have a routine, the more consistent you're going to be, and all of that. And what you're doing right now is that you're trying to be consistent. I think somewhere I read it that if you do something every day for 12 weeks, it's going to be part of your subconscious, it's going to be part of your routine. The chances that you're going to break that cycle is really hard, because you've consistently done the same thing for 12 weeks. So that's what some of the pitfalls that you can have. I think there are other pitfalls that there are more pitfalls that has to do with the entirety of the 12-week year. Let me just go through those ones a little bit with you guys. Okay, I found it. Now, another one is you think that measurement is complicated or unimportant. You guys remember that I said that when you during the weekly planning, so at the end of the week, you're scoring yourself against what you actually were supposed to do. Most people think that measurement is complicated and is not important and there's no need to do it. But the truth is that if you do not do those measurements, if you do not do those calculations, there's no way to really know if you're lagging behind or if you're really on track. So if you're already having the mindset that, oh, you're not going to measure, you're not going to do any calculation, you're not going to do any execution store, or that score, not store, you're not going to do an execution score, remove that at the back of your mind, because it's really important that you measure yourself against what you said you were going to do. The next thing is you don't schedule a block of time each week to assess your progress. Again, this is still talking about the whole process of weekly planning and all of that. You need to keep a time out, schedule a time out for your weekly planning. So for me, like I said, I've already kept it as part of my routine that every Saturday I will be going through a list of all the things I said I was going to do and be scoring myself against it. each time, every week. For I'm starting my week starts on Sunday, so that is the reason why I'm doing at the end of the week being Saturday. Some people, you might decide that, oh, you want to do this at the beginning of the week. That's also fine, depending on what you'd want to do. You go by that. The next thing is you abandon the system when you don't score well. So it says, too often people abandon the system and stop scoring when they have 2 bad weeks in a row. Have the courage to assess each week and don't back down even when you have a disappointing week. So let's just assume you have a disappointing week this week, next week. That does not mean that you should just end everything and all of that. Figure out why this is happening and try to curb it. Basically, that's why when Chinaza, you were asking about, is it possible to, what happens if you flop a quarter? That's why with this weekly planning, or with this weekly look back at what you've done, there's no way to have there's no way for you to flop a quarter, because what it means is that week on week on week you were doing bad and you didn't make any changes, you didn't do anything differently about it, you just kept on being bad, like just kept on having a bad score week on week and you didn't make any changes. That doesn't even make any sense. Do you understand? So it's definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If you want your year 2025 to be one of the best years ever, you have to put in the time, you have to invest your time in all the things just you say you're going to do, in your goals, in the things you want for yourself. Do you understand? So if you have a bad week this week, you score yourself, figure out why you had a bad week, then try and change something in the next week. With little changes, you're going to see like results. Even though the changes, like, even if the result is like 2% increase, it's still a lot compared to not having anything at all. So now the next thing I'll go to is the different tips, the successful tips that you can implement and all that. The first one says review your weekly score with a body or a small group of peers each week. Like I said, I'm going to be doing my weekly accountability meeting live. Since I'm live with my, let me just check 1 sec. Since currently I am live with my goals, I might as well come live with my accountability meetings. So if you're interested in joining the weekly accountability meetings, I'm going to be joining them live. I'll most likely look through my analytics and see the time that my subscribers are mostly active on Saturdays and use that time to set it. So it's going to be like a 1 hour accountability meeting, except maybe something happens. So it's going to be between maybe 30 to 1 hour, but that's it. That's literally going to be it. So if you're looking for an accountability buddy or an accountability pair, you can, come to this meeting while I'm also doing my scoring. You're also doing your scoring and we can talk about it. The next one here says commit to make progress each week. Maybe you can't, and it says maybe you can't improve your execution from 45% to 85% in 1 week, but you can move from 45 to 55. Focus on making progress. That's just the most important thing. You should focus on making progress each week. The goal is to raise your level of execution each week. A weekly score that is increasing is a positive sign that bodes well for succeeding with your goals. So the higher your positivity, the higher your execution score, especially if you were very low, the higher you score, the better for you. Take note, in the first week, you might not get 85, you might not get 100, you might get like as low as 40. That's fine. Now you're trying to figure out what works and what does not work. Do you understand? The whole process is that maybe next week you can get 50. That is progress. Or if possible, next week you get 42, 43. That's still progress compared to where you were coming from the previous week. And you should just remember that the more positive score you have, or the more for every increase in positive score you have, it means that something is working. Now the next thing here says that remember that a weekly score of less than 85% is not necessarily bad. A weekly score of less than 85% is not necessarily bad. It might just be that you need to ask your question, is the execution score of 75% enough to achieve my weekly goal? So if my execution score is less than 85%, ask yourself, if I keep at this less than 85% for 12 weeks, will I be able to achieve my goal? If I'll be able to achieve my goal, then that's fine. But if I'm not going to be able to achieve my goal, then you need to think, what can I do? What are the changes I can make? What are the things I can do differently to make sure that I achieve my goal? Next year, it says, don't be afraid to confront what the numbers are telling you. It says, if you're unwilling to confront reality, then you will never be able to change it. When you track your numbers, your execution system will help you to identify the root causes of any performance breakdown you may experience. When there's a breakdown in your results, you need to know if it was caused by a breakdown in your execution or your planned content. There's a big difference, and the only way to know for sure is by measuring both your results and your execution. So the only way for you to know exactly what's going on is by confronting the number, is by looking at the numbers. So now I think that's literally the summary of this book. Like I said, I'm going to go through like key takeaways and like summary and all of that. But one thing you still, here are some things that I wrote down from my perspective that you shouldn't do. Stop setting goals you can't control. I used mine as an example when I was setting YouTube goals like make 4,000 watch hours, get up to 5,000 subscribers. Those are nice goals. Those are really, really, I mean, if I get them, I'll be very happy. But if I don't get them, I'll be very sad. And the reason why I'm sad doesn't even make any sense because these are goals I couldn't even control in the first place. Like, I cannot control how many people subscribe to my channel. I cannot control how many people show up on my live. All I can control is being present. All I can control are the actions I take. Do you understand? The results will come, the results will show for itself. Now, the next thing is stop setting unrealistic goals. You need to acknowledge reality. You need to know that, see, do you know what? I am a 50K earner. I cannot save 100K in a year. You need to be realistic for yourself. You know, on Instagram, on YouTube, on social media, that right now, everywhere, people are saying, stay. I think I said this thing yesterday. People always talk about staying Delulu is the Solulu. But staying Delulu is not necessarily the Solulu for everybody because there are some Delulus that can never be Delulus. I will always use it. I cannot be earning 50K today and say from my 9 to 5 job, I want to save 100K. It's not possible. Do you understand? The only way that kind of thing is possible is if I have multiple streams of income or if I have income coming in from somewhere else. So, in as much as we want to stay the Lulu to get this Lulu, you have to be realistic with yourself too and the things you can achieve. Do you understand? Now, these are things you another thing I also want to say is remember the things that will hinder you from achieving your goals. I think the moment I was able to pen those things down, I kind of had some power over it. Do you understand? I was able to think of, okay, these are the things that will make me struggle when it comes to achieving my goals. Now, these are the ways I can kind of like combat it so that when I know that, oh, I'm going to be tired this particular time, oh, I will do something else. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Think of what is going to hinder you from achieving your goal and try and find ways to not allow it hinder you, if that makes any sense. One sec, let me look at the poll and what the numbers are saying. Okay, so it's 8%. It's 8% say yes, I'm creating a 12-week goal. Why 12% say I am still doing it yearly, and that's fine. That's fine. The next thing I'm going to say is the key takeaways for me from this book. The key takeaway was that got the first one had to do with focus. Working in 12-week cycles creates urgency and focus. So with 12 weeks, you know that you do not have like a lot of time to do whatever it is you want to do. In 12 weeks, you have to do this. So it means that you have to act now. You need to start now. Do you understand? Now, the second thing is execution. Success comes from consistent and disciplined actions. If you want to be successful in what you're doing, you need to perform. You need to do what you need to do. You need to be disciplined about your actions. You also need to be consistent. Do you understand? The next one is accountability, taking ownership of your result, taking ownership of the things you say you're going to do. Whenever you say you're going to do stuff, do it. Do you understand? I think 2 days ago, I was going through I and my friend were talking, and I saw in our messages, I told her that I was going to send something to her, and I just realized that it's been over, I think 2 months, and I did not send that stuff to her. You guys, do you know how bad I felt that I said I was going to do this and I didn't do it? Now think if I'm feeling this bad for somebody else, think of yourself. Most times we don't feel, I think that's the problem. The pedestal in which we put other people on, we don't put ourselves there. When we don't really meet our goals, we just make excuses. Do you understand? We just say, okay, yeah, I could not achieve it because something happened. But when it comes to somebody else, we'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I should have done this, I didn't do it. But for ourselves, we're not doing others, I'm so sorry, and I should have done this. We're just giving excuses. So take accountability, take ownership of whatever it is you say you're going to do, and do it. And lastly, measurement, tracking your progress with scorecards and changing your plans as needed. It is really, really, really important that you have the scorecard. Do not shy away from it. Do not say that, oh, the scorecards are, you know, do not say that the scorecards are like, do not make excuses for not using scorecards. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. You might feel that it is not important, but with your scores, you're going to be able to know exactly what is working and what is not working. And because of that, you're going to use that to make changes as soon as possible. You don't want a situation whereby you're 12 weeks in, then you're not saying, oh, the 12-week year has flopped. But no, in reality, not necessarily flopped. You flopped because you did not do what you're supposed to do. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? But yeah, I'm very, very, very happy that I was able to complete this book and talk to you guys about it today, because one thing I set out for myself yesterday was that I was going to complete this thing, and now I'm completed it. I've spoken to you guys about it, and yeah. So if you guys are going to be doing the 12-week year, like I said, I'm going to be doing this 12-week year like updates, and not updates. I'm going to be doing the 12-week year planning and all of that. Chloe says, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine. How are you doing, Chloe? So I'm going to be doing the 12-week year, and I've written down all my goals. I've written down my 3-year vision, I've written down my 12-week vision, and I'm just going to be going with that to doing all the things I have to do. Remember, do not forget, also pen down actions you think you'll struggle with and what you will do to overcome those struggles. I promise you, the moment you write it down, it's like you will have control over these things. I'm telling you, that's how I felt when I wrote these things down. Looking at it now, the fact that I've already kind of like created ways I can go about doing all these things I want to do, like I have total control over it. So please, I'm telling you guys, write these things down. And yeah, that's literally it for the 12-week year. I really enjoyed like talking to you guys about this, and I will see you guys in my next video. I think I'm going to be going live tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday, and I'm most likely be doing my skincare routine. You guys have been getting compliments about my skin, that my skin is glowing, and I'm just going to show you guys some of the new products that I'm going to be using, or some of the new products I'm using, and some of the products that I was using previously that are done. I'll be showing you guys. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please do not forget to leave a thumbs up. Do not forget to leave a comment. If you have questions, let me know in the comment section. I'll be sure to answer you. If you're also interested in the weekly accountability meeting, we're going to be having these meetings every Saturdays. I'm going to create live schedules for all of that, so that even me, when I say that they're already up, I'll meet, so I'll want to join. Do you understand? So I'll be accountable to you guys. You guys are accountable to me, and I'm accountable to myself too as well. So yeah, that brings me to the end of the live. Thank you all. Like I said, thank you for joining. Thank you for asking questions. And I hope that with this, we're going to, 2025 is going to be our year. That's what I believe. 2025 is the year we're going to achieve all the things we set out to achieve. If you've also not created your vision board, all right, bye Chloe. Thank you for joining. If you've not also created your vision board, if you guys remember yesterday from our vision board, live, if you don't know about the vision board live, if you go to my channel, you'll be able to see it, where we created our vision board. I told you guys that about 2 pictures were missing, so I already added the 2 pictures. Then I added the 2025 consistency and my success is inevitable. I added those images, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to clean this up, because some of the images, they have glue on it because I was I was not being very careful, and looking at the glue is annoying me. So I'm just going to do that. I also plan on starting a reading live. I don't know how that is going to work out. I don't know if I've seen anybody do it. But what I'm going to be doing is that I'll just come live and I'm going to be reading. So these are days that I've set out that I'm going to be reading and all of that. So I'll just come live and be reading while you guys can maybe talk. You can talk. No, I don't know if I'm going to be talking to you guys while I'm reading, or I'm just going to be reading. And if you want to see me read, you know, you're there. But if not, but yeah, this is what it is. This is the, oh my god, there's glue everywhere. Yeah, this is the vision board we're able to create. So yeah, if you've not created yours, I beg you, please try and create yours as soon as possible. 2025 is starting next week, Thursday. Like, next week, Thursday is no, it's actually Wednesday. It's not Thursday. It's Wednesday, not Thursday, it's Wednesday. So 2025 is already here. So this year, we're intentional. This year, we're going to achieve all the things we set out to achieve. And by the special grace of God, with God being the focus of our journey, with us not procrastinating, with us just, you know, being successful and magneting and dragging people that are magneting success to us, we're going to make it this year. We're going to make it this year. But yeah, that's literally it. Like I said, if you've not watched the the vision board video, it is up on YouTube. You can check that out. And I will see you all tomorrow with my updated skincare routine. Also, this evening, I think when I'm done with this live now, I need to schedule the different live sessions that I'm going to be having next year, because I plan on going live. Like I said, part of my God, like I'm saying it now, but this is something I've always wanted. I wanted to I plan on going live like every day next year, maybe from January to March, to just see how consistent I can be. I'm trying to go live and creating like videos on the side. I don't know how that's going to be, so I also need to work that out and how I'll plan all that. But yeah, looking forward to next year and carrying you guys on my journey to achieving our goals in 2025. Also, I think there was one thing I forgot to talk about. After the 12-week year, the 13th week, you're supposed to use that to just look at everything that you achieved in the 12 weeks, kind of like do like a final breakdown of everything, then use that to also plan the next 12 week, or rather 12 weeks, not 12 weeks. So you're supposed to use your 13th week, that's week after the 12 week, to look at all the things you want to do, create new 12-week plans, then, you know, do the regular things that you're supposed to do with what you do. Like, so how do I explain it? This week now, I have created a 12-week plan based off my 3-year vision. So on the 13th week, after the first 12 week is complete, you're supposed to use your 3-week vision again to create your 12-week plan. But yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm really glad and I'm really happy to be on this journey with you guys. For a vision board, can we do a digital version? Yeah, you can do a digital version. Yeah, that reminds me, yesterday when I was talking about the vision board, I said that I was going to show you guys or talk to you guys about how you can also do a, yeah, my teeth is paining me. I'm going to talk to you guys about how you can also do a, what's the word? Do a digital vision board. So if you guys watched that video, if you remember, I said that after I got my pictures from Pinterest, I went to Canva, then put them in an A4 flyer before printing them on a 7x5 paper. But if you don't want to do that, you can just go to Canva. You can use 16x9. I think 16x9 is YouTube size. You can use 16x9, put all your pictures there, arrange them whatever way you want to arrange them. You can layer them. You can put pictures on top of pictures, but make sure that whatever picture you put on top of the other picture, at least you can see to an extent what the underlying picture is saying. So the way I go about it is I put all my pictures down, then I put the text on top, because with the text I can still see like the main image and all of that. So yeah, if you're using a digital vision board, you can either use Canva, or there's another process. You can use Instagram. So if you go to your Instagram account, when you slide through, like you're about to take a picture, if you click on the three, depending on where it is for you, it might be on the left or on the right. If you click on the more section, I think there's like an arrow, you can see layout. Now with that layout, you can apply, you can put your pictures. So you can put the first, I think the layout you can have about, I think, I don't know if 4 is the biggest, is the most, or 8 or 6, but depending on the layout you choose, you can maybe go with 4, put the 4 different pictures, you save it, then click on layout again, the 4 different pictures that you've kept, add it to a layout again. So this is it here. Let me start again. Let's say you have about 20 pictures for your vision board. You've clicked on layout, you've selected 4, a grid of 4. You've done that, you've saved it. Click on that layout, select a grid of 4, add your next 4 pictures, you've saved it. That's cool. Then the next thing, that's how you go till you're done with all the pictures. So let's use 16 for ease of calculation. 16, you've done it here. Now the next thing is, now that you have 4 different pictures in group of 4s, in group of 4 grids, you can go to layout again, create another group of 4, then add those pictures, and that is how you're going to create a grid of a grid of a grid of pictures. And I think for me, that's what I did. And what I did with that was that I also decided to save it on my phone and have it as my screensaver. So when my phone is on work mode or focus mode, when I try and look at my phone, the first thing I see is my vision board. So for me, that is just indirectly telling me, focus, focus, focus. You say you're going to do this, you say you're going to do this. Now your vision board is, my vision board is just looking back at me when I'm trying to touch my phone during my focus mode or my work mode. So, you know, go back to what you said you're supposed to do. But yeah, literally, that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you've gotten some, what's the word? I hope you've gotten some good information that you're going to use this year when you are, you know, creating your vision board, not your vision board, yes, and when you are also creating your goals for the year. And I hope this session helped, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have an amazing Saturday and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.